My name is Jason Keesaw, and I'm Training and Development Manager with Merit Senior Living. For those that are not aware, Merit Senior Living is an HR company that focuses 100% in the senior living world, in the senior living industry. We have clients all over the country. Some of our clients have HR professionals on staff in which we provide various resources and support to help them be more successful. And then there's other communities we work with that don't have really any HR on staff, and we play the HR function for them as well. Part of my role, as I said, is Training and Development Manager, is to work with clients in a variety of areas. Everything regarding our training and development can be found at seniorlivingleadership.com, and we really focus on three areas. We focus on helping leaders develop a leadership mindset. Leadership is not a title. I believe it is a mindset. It is a spirit. It is a way of showing up in the world. And once you learn it and you're able to see the benefits of it and you're able to make it habit, it impacts everything you do. It truly changes lives. So that's one thing that excites me the most, is working with leaders all across the country and helping them adopt this leadership mindset and watching what happens from there. The second thing is helping communities create a hospitality culture. It's different than customer service, different than resident service, but the best way to satisfy and exceed resident expectations and their families' expectations is to create a hospitality culture. And finally, none of us work alone. And if we're going to be successful within our organizations and within our communities, we all need to be able to work together toward a common goal, and that's team. And whether it's your leadership team working more productively with each other, or any other team within your community working productively, the best way to ensure that you are successful is for everybody to be on the same page, working toward the same goal, and for teams to be functioning in a healthy, high-performing manner. So we feel that these three areas are critical to the success of your communities. And if you would like more information, please visit seniorlivingleadership.com, or certainly reach out to any one of us after the webinar. So today, like it said in the title screen, we're going to be talking about developing yourself and others. We're going to talk about a few different things over the next 27 minutes or so. We're going to talk about high payoff development. We're going to talk about barriers to development. All of us have roadblocks and things that get in our way that take us away from doing at least what we say we want to do. We're going to talk about a three-step development process and kind of what goes into each of the steps. We're going to end on really taking charge and developing yourself, but while you're developing yourself, providing ongoing support, coaching, and feedback. And as we get going here, just a few notes on growth. For an organization to remain successful, it must grow, period. Everything is changing. It's constantly changing, and it's really hard to stay in the same place and stay with the same mentality and the same skills and grow when everything around you is changing. I once had a client that told me that growth is required because survival is not guaranteed, right? So we must grow. And you as a leader has a role in this. Leaders often have access to information that their teams may not be aware of, such as changes within the community direction, new strategies around your offering and services, and some of these things will require new skills, knowledge, or abilities. And it's your role, the leader, to make sure that these key priorities are known and that you're managing the goals to guide development so that everybody is able to achieve their goals, and ultimately the community is able to reach their goals. So growth in your role without all of this. So the two tracks that we're talking about here is we're going to talk on a high level about the concept of development, but it's really developing yourself and others. We talk about the concept of leadership derailment. And you know, if you think about being on a track and moving efficiently, moving effectively, and reaching your goals, we don't want you to get derailed. You don't want you to get derailed. And two things that lead to leadership derailment is lack of self-management and lack of relationship building. And I think that relates very well to this with the developing self and developing others, because I think part of developing yourself is that self-management. The only way you are going to know what to develop and what direction to go is to focus on self-development. And if you want to be successful, a lot of your goals are, if not all of them, are dependent upon other people being successful, and that relationship building and that development aspect for others is key. So we really want to focus on the development of self and others. Development, building the capabilities of people who are meeting or exceeding job expectations to ensure success in their current role and to prepare them for future opportunities. Again, the marketplace continues to change. It's certainly no different in the senior living industry than any other industry. You've got, within the next few years, you're going to be having a different generation of seniors that are going to be your target residents, and you're going to have to continue to change to make that. So, and you need to have people, not only are you going to have to change, but you're going to have people on your team that are going to need to change as well. And it's a shared responsibility. You as a leader, it's your responsibility to target the developmental needs. People can get real busy doing things real easily, but if they're not doing things that align with a target or with your community goals and strategies, people are just busy. As a leader, it's your job to provide leadership support and remove the barriers. And third point, ongoing support, right? As leaders, it's our job to see the big picture and help the team around us develop accordingly. And then there's also responsibility from the direct report. And this is commitment to vision. If a direct report or an employee is committed to your vision, they will make development a priority if you're able to tie their development plan to the strategy and the vision. Part of the responsibility of the direct report is to ask for help. When they need support, ask for it. And then obviously take action. You know, there's a lot of talkers in this world, and there's no room for talkers when you're trying to accomplish something. So we definitely want to take action and develop those skills so that everyone can be successful together. So let's start off with the high payoff development. And this is a fairly simple concept, but it's one that I think can kind of get lost sometimes. And that the idea of it here is that when development is really happening, it's when the personal needs and goals of an individual are being met, and they align with the group goals and needs, and they align with the organizational goals and needs. Okay. Again, fairly simple concept. It's probably things that you've talked about internally and learned about in the past, but we really want to make sure these three things are aligning with each other. We want the personal needs of our people to align with the group needs, to align with the organizational needs, to make sure everything is clicking and moving in the right direction. Just a little example here. Fiona is a CNA at a senior living community. She would like to start taking on more responsibility and has even talked about furthering her education. She has worked with her supervisor to align her personal goals to the goals of her team and the community. So number one, as the community grows, it needs talented and committed nurses. Fiona would like to develop skills and assume more responsibility. So that aligns very well with organizational goals and your community goals. And the more skills and commitment that a nurse has, the better the resident care is, the more successful the teams are, etc. So we really want to make sure it's good for all three. But there's always barriers, and there's always things that can get in the way. And most of the time it's work. Work got in the way of development. And we want to make development a priority. You have to make development a priority. You have to make your personal development a priority, and you have to instill this habit and this commitment within your staff so that they make it a priority. In working one-on-one with clients in the past, we talk about working on the community versus in the community. And the working on the community is the strategic stuff, the stuff that where you're able to take a step back and you're able to see the big picture of things and you're able to move forward accordingly. The working in the community is all the day-to-day needs, the putting out fires, resolving conflicts, the stuff that is certainly urgent, but it's not the stuff that necessarily moves your community forward. So we really want to pay attention to what is work and what is getting in the way of the development. And there's lots of barriers to development. Time, money, sometimes it's changing or unclear priorities. Maybe you don't feel like you have the right resources. There's no support from leadership, or if you're a part of a bigger senior living organization, they may not value the development aspect as much as they probably should. Not a lot of opportunity to try different things. Or maybe you've tried a lot of things, but you haven't developed any kind of measurement or accountability system for development and making sure that it's going in the right, that everything's moving in the right direction. Or maybe you're just stuck in status quo. It takes a certain amount of energy to take action and move forward, to move into uncharted territory and to get out of our comfort zone. Sometimes it's more comfortable just doing what we've always done. But we don't want to let these barriers get in the way of development. Again, development is what is going to move your organization, your community forward. We really want to be conscious of that and take action on that. In order to do that, we must develop. And DDI here, an organization that we work with, myself and members of my team are all DDI certified facilitators. DDI has identified 3 steps to the development process. And that's to assess the goals for what needs and talents and skills are going to be necessary to accomplish the goals. You need to acquire the skills, whether it's sharpening the skills or whether it's acquiring new skills to be able to reach the goals and grow. And lastly, once acquired, we need to be able to apply those skills to the goal. So assess, acquire, and apply. And we're going to break those down a bit further. So when we're talking about assessing, best practices around assessing, we want to identify strengths as well as growth areas. Now, it's real easy to focus on growth areas. It's real easy to take a step back and see what is wrong and what is lacking and give attention to those areas. And depending on what the impact is on the overall organizational goals and the goals of your community, that may be the right place to start. But you can't forget about the strengths. You can't forget about making the people stronger and helping them become stronger in their skills. Review insights obtained from a variety of sources. It could be resident surveys, it could be 360 evaluations, it could be peer reviews. If they're responsible for tangible numbers, it's reviewing that information, but it's not just using your subjective judgment. It's trying to look at a big picture and gather as much information as you can so you can make the best decisions as far as what growth opportunities need to be done. Determine the high payoff development opportunities, and in order to do this, you need to get to know your staff and get to know your direct reports. And I think part of leadership is understanding what is meaningful to your people. What fires them up? What are they passionate about? What are they interested in? What are their career goals? Even if it doesn't include staying at your community forever. How can you help connect what they want out of the world with what you want out of the world? And that's a high payoff development. We want to begin with application in mind and focus on one strength and one growth area. So again, high payoff development, their needs, their group needs, and your organizational needs. How do you tie all 3 together? Begin with application in mind. It needs to be applicable. You're not going to send somebody to training or have somebody invest their time and energy on a skill or talent that is not going to be utilized, right? So we want to make sure we're being very intentional with it. I know there's a lot of folks out there that believe in development and, don't develop just for the sake of doing it. Make sure it aligns with your goals and make sure it's going to help move your community forward. There has to be a payoff in it. And then how many things should you develop? Keep it simple. Right here it talks about one strength and one growth area. Just being very intentional and not to overwhelm somebody. There's certain personalities out there that want to take on 10 things at once. Help them and get them to slow down and focus. There was a great article in Harvard Business Review a few months ago on the the benefit of familiarity. Giving people the opportunity to become an expert in what they're doing, become familiar with what they're doing and who they're around, will not only make things more efficient, but it will help them develop better and faster. So that's assess. The second skill is acquire. And we're talking about acquiring, we're talking about using a combination of learning methods. We want to leverage opportunities for learning that address more than one need at the same time. Okay. Now, we don't want to have multiple focuses, but it's nice if we have a development opportunity that can spill over into other things that we are trying to accomplish as well. Be proactive and identify the barriers ahead of time so that you're able to create a plan and map out the development plan so that it's not held back by surprises and barriers. And we have to measure, measure, measure. I used to have a manager that used to say you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So we need to be able to manage what we are doing if we want to. We need to be able to, measure what we are doing if we want to manage it effectively. So when we talk about different learning methods, different people learn differently. Some people are visual. Some people need to hear it. Some people are better with hands-on or self-study. This goes back to learning about your people and their learning style. And also for yourself, when you're talking about developing yourself, make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position to be successful. But there's lots of different opportunities to be able to learn things and experience things. Just make sure that you're not coming into it with what I would call a one-size-fits-all method to teach people and just expect them to move forward. We want to meet them where they are, and everybody's different. Everyone's got different experiences, and everybody learns different. So we want to make sure that we are meeting them where they are and providing a variety of ways for them to learn what we would like them to learn. From the acquisition of the ideas, capture ideas on how to acquire the skill, knowledge, or competency in that growth area. Here's a couple of examples of presentation skills and collaboration. Again, we want to take a step back, and we want to make sure that we are aware of all the resources that are made available to us in order to accomplish the goals we are looking to accomplish. We talked about barriers. In one of the previous slides, there's a lot of barriers and things that can come up that will hold us back. I really feel like, though, if you make a decision that development is a priority and you're able to tie the benefits and the benefit of development to the outcomes, the barriers are not going to be as relevant. Not to say they're not going to be a factor, but part of it is making that commitment and making it a priority. If you know what you're going after, the barriers become less. Then obviously the measuring it, as we talked about, is critical. The third area is to apply the skills, competencies, knowledge that has been acquired. And some of the best practices around apply. Ensure that the application is immediate and progressive. Again, you don't want somebody to go through specific training or utilize specific resources if they're just going to sit on it. They'll lose it. They can forget it. Make sure that you've got things in place to help them exercise that right away so that they can get the practice they need, and so it can become a habit and they can become successful with it. Agree with your direct reports on progress and outcome measures. Okay, just don't tell them to go do it. Agree on why they are doing it, what you were looking for, and what the outcome needs to be to make sure that everybody is successful in it. Again, anticipate barriers. Plan how to overcome them. Some people are more resilient than others, and some people look at barriers as challenges that they're going to and they make it a goal to overcome it. And other people look at that stuff and get discouraged. Again, know who your people are, know how challenges affect them, and coach them accordingly. And then be open to unexpected application opportunities. Strategies and plans are awesome, but they need to be flexible. They need to be flexible for changes that, change is going to happen. And it's easier on all of us if we're open to being flexible and willing to look at various opportunities. And part of a progressive application plan. So once they've had the development opportunity to acquire the skills, this is really where it opens up to have a coaching relationship with them. Now, managing and coaching is different. One of the things we focus on a lot is coaching. It's a different conversation. There's managing expectations and outcomes, but then there's coaching for success. So we want to meet to coach. We want to meet to discuss what was learned so that we are, one, aware of what's going on, but B, or two, can we add value to what has been learned. Practice one-on-one. Give them the opportunity to practice the skills and for you to see it in action so that you can give the most appropriate feedback. Have them work with other people to make sure that they are getting comfortable with it. And again, it's not such a role-play environment or whatever it is. It's the ability to work with other people in more of a real-world setting to help them become comfortable and more successful. And then finally, you kind of kick them out of the nest and let them apply the skills on their own. But along the way, you're always coaching and you're always measuring. We never want to forget those parts of it, in making sure that we are coaching based on the progress we've agreed upon and the outcomes that we're measuring against. So why measure? We want to make sure we're monitoring their proficiency level. We want to be aware if they need support. It allows people to see the progress that they're in. It's hard to keep going toward a goal without understanding how you are doing and seeing where you need to improve and how you can do things different. And it creates learning tension to move the development through the success. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of here's why we're doing this, here's what needs to happen. Again, from the responsibility standpoint we talked about at the very beginning, there are two different roles involved here, and the role of the direct report is to make it a priority, make a commitment to it. And, that measurement kind of creates that nudge and that reminder to them that it's indeed a serious deal, and it's important that they take it seriously and move forward toward reaching their goals. When we're looking at your personal development, the biggest thing is to take charge. Make development a priority. Collaborate with the people around you, especially leadership. Make sure that what you want to do as you're taking charge aligns with organizational goals. And hopefully leadership is making sure of that as well. Leadership is paying attention to that, to the high development plan of making sure that individual goals align with team goals, align with organizational goals. So making sure collaborating with leadership to make sure everybody's on the same page. Don't be afraid to stretch beyond your comfort zone. That's where growth and learning happens. It's very easy to get stuck in status quo. And hopefully we've got people around us painting the picture and connecting the dots for us that of what the rewards can be, what the results will be if we're willing to get a little uncomfortable and go into uncharted territory. Don't be afraid to ask for support to overcome barriers. We do not work alone. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People talks about going from dependent to independent to interdependent. And a lot of people get stuck in independent. They want to do things 100% on their own. They think that they alone are responsible for their success. It definitely starts with them. But the most mature phase we can be in is the interdependent phase, when we realize that very few things can be accomplished alone, and it's actually in our best interest to involve other people, involve other resources, make sure that we are asking for that support, one, because we need it, and two, It's going to allow us to overcome barriers and challenges easier. In that spirit, seeking and being receptive to feedback. Just don't move forward, ask questions, utilize those measurement tools that have been put in place to make sure your progress is going in the right direction, and getting feedback from the people you trust to make sure that everything is moving in the direction it should. Monitor and measuring progress, and then that welcoming the unexpected development opportunities. And this is, this is kind of the glass half full mentality. There's some people, when unexpected things happen, it totally throws them off course and ruins their experience or hurts their confidence. Though the realities of that could be valid, I really try to sit back and look at everything as, well, here's the benefits of it. This sucks, but here's the benefits of it. Here's the positive outcome, the learning opportunity in it. There's positive in everything we do, and it's certainly no different in learning and accomplishing our goals, even when we are running into walls and maybe we feel like we're struggling or failing. Just being open, being positive, and appreciating the unexpected development opportunities that may come our way. So that's our personal development. Now, when we are coaching others, we really want to be that support mechanism. Leadership is providing the resources, providing the energy, providing the vision to get people to align themselves with, to move toward the goal. We want to help identify those high payoff development opportunities. That means we need to pay attention to the people we work with. We want to, because we are aware on what the organizational goals are in the big picture, we want to pay attention to the barriers to development. We want to make it possible for people around us to become successful and to develop as needed. We as leaders have the ability to do that. Identify the best learning activities, working with individuals, understanding what their learning styles are and how they can learn most effectively. Providing progressive opportunities. That's once we understand that the skills are being learned, or the competencies or the knowledge. What are we doing to make sure that they are able to put those into practice? What opportunities are we giving them to help them become as successful as possible? Because if they've got the energy and they made the commitment and they've made development a priority, we really want to capitalize on that. And it's going to make them more confident. It's going to help them grow personally and professionally. And it's really going to do a great job at building trust with you and them and the organization. That's going to lead to retention, engagement, better performance, the whole 9 yards. Continuously monitoring, measuring, providing feedback and coaching, and the key word there is coaching. Coaching is a different conversation than simply managing and holding people accountable for achieving the results or not achieving the results. All of us have had a coach at one time in our lives, and it's definitely a developmental relationship. And as leaders, leverage our networks. Through our experiences, we've got different resources that we can tap into to help others be successful, to find those development opportunities. So as you're thinking about what has been talked about over the past 28 minutes, think to yourself what insights you've gained that will help you develop yourself and others. Think about what challenge might prevent you from applying what you've learned, and how do you plan to overcome it? A little food for thought. We'll be posting these questions on our Merit Senior Living Facebook page. If you wish to go there and answer the questions, what insight have you gained that will help you develop yourself and others? What challenge might prevent you from applying what you've learned, and how do you plan to overcome it? If you need further information regarding this webinar, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, my name is Jason Keesaw, Training and Development Manager with Merit Senior Living. We're all very passionate about helping you and your teams reach your personal and professional goals. And I truly believe in the senior living world, we are changing lives. So really want to thank everybody for their time today. I hope you found value in the webinar. And visit seniorlivingleadership.com for other webinars and to learn more about what we have going on here. So thank you very much.